Digital RMB shockwave, the US-China currency war, is coming. Following the tariff trade war, the United States and China are about to embark on the next stage of the battle, the currency war. In early 2024, the Digital Currency Cooperation Agreement signed by Saudi Arabia's finance minister and a representative of China's central bank during a closed-door meeting at the BRICS summit in Johannesburg, South Africa, triggered a dramatic shakeout in international financial markets. This is not an isolated case. From Russian energy trade to Iranian oil settlements to the ASEAN cross-border payment network, the digital Chinese yuan, or ECNY, is weaving a clearing network that covers 135 countries. When the U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen, in the congressional hearing, for the first time admitted that the digital yuan may weaken the privileges of the dollar, the Western world really realized. This began in Beijing Financial Street as a monetary revolution, and it is reshaping the continuation of the 80 years of the Bretton Woods system. First, the geopolitical breakout behind the technological revolution. The digital RMB's $1.2 trillion transaction volume is no mere technological advancement, but its underlying structure contains a disruptive strategic design. Unlike the decentralized nature of traditional cryptocurrencies, the central bank digital currency system realizes the second-level clearing of cross-border payments through the controlled anonymity mechanism while ensuring the traceability of transactions. The Bank for International Settlements 2023 report shows that, with the help of smart contract technology, ECNY cross-border transaction costs are only 1/17 of the SWIFT system, and the settlement time has been shortened from T+2 to T+0. The strategic value brought by such a leap in efficiency is particularly notable in the energy sector. In May 2023, China and Saudi Arabia completed the first digital RMB settlement of 4.8 million barrels of crude oil, and the whole process took 9 seconds. In comparison, traditional US dollar settlements take an average of 53 hours through 6 stages, including correspondent banks, current accounts, and the CHIPS clearing system. More critically, the ECNY account system bypasses the monitoring network of the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC, which is a fatal attraction for energy exporters that have long been constrained by the dollar payment system. The political game behind the technical parameters has culminated in the aftermath of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Data from Russia's central bank show that the share of Russian-Chinese trade settled in yuan soared to 68% in 2023, up from just 17% before the war. Interestingly, the digital yuan accounts for more than 30% of that total. The Moscow exchange has even developed a cross-border payment module compatible with the ECNY. This digital currency corridor will allow Russia to maintain 80% of its international trade settlements, even after SWIFT is removed. Second, the structural cracks in the dollar's fortifications. The Federal Reserve's 2024 report on international capital flows reveals a disturbing trend. The dollar's share of global foreign exchange reserves has fallen from 72% in 2001 to 58%, while the yuan's share has climbed from 0 to 4.8% over the same period. On the surface, this percentage might seem insignificant, but, well, when you zoom in on Southeast Asia and the Gulf, the digital yuan is clearly establishing a beachhead at a critical juncture. Data from Indonesia's central bank shows that the use of digital RMB in bilateral trade settlements surged 320% year-on-year in 2023. And Bank Negara Malaysia has approved 17 financial institutions to access the ECNY system. Traditional U.S. financial weapons are experiencing technological failure. For instance, when the Hong Kong Monetary Authority launched its digital RMB cross-border payment sandbox in April 2023, its multilateral central bank digital currency bridge project achieved real-time interconnections with the central banks of Thailand and the United Arab Emirates. This distributed ledger technology-based architecture is, in essence, building a payments highway parallel to SWIFT. And what's even more disturbing to Washington is that the International Monetary Fund approved the inclusion of ECNY in the special drawing rights currency basket in June 2024. With a weighting of 12.5%, this move shakes the hegemonic foundation of the US dollar at the institutional level. The Federal Reserve's digital dollar program is facing what some might call an innovator's dilemma. Even though the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, in partnership with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, has pushed the Hamilton program into its third phase, the retail CBDC design has encountered significant resistance from Congress. According to lobbying data from the American Bankers Association, Congress saw a 470% increase in anti-CBDC proposals in 2023. This kind of systemic internal friction has, well, caused the United States to gradually lose speed in the race to digitize its currency. Now, let's talk about the new currency war under asymmetric competition. China has taken a rather unique approach, adopting the strategy of encircling cities in the countryside when it comes to digital currency. Through its Belt and Road digital payment network, the ECNY has managed to penetrate the retail payment systems of 78 countries. And here's a striking figure. According to a report by the African Development Bank, the share of digital RMB in Africa's cross-border remittance market is projected to reach 19% in 2023. Even more impressive, the fees for these transactions are only 1/20th of what traditional channels charge. This grassroots-level penetration is starting to shift the long-standing dependence on international currencies. It's a fascinating development, to say the least. The self-reinforcing mechanism of the U.S. financial system has suffered, well, a blow to the bottom. The oil-dollar bond triangle of U.S. dollar hegemony is being gradually deconstructed, and in March 2024, the Shanghai International Energy Exchange, or INE, launched digital RMB-denominated crude oil futures and options. The trading volume exceeded 800,000 lots in the very first month. A more far-reaching impact, honestly, lies in the transfer of data power brought about by currency digitization. The trade flow and capital flow information precipitated by the ECNY system is forming an alternative data asset to replace the SWIFT message system. The competition for the right to set the rules of the game in this new track is, well, getting hotter by the day. The China-led Global Central Bank Digital Currency Technical Standards White Paper has already been signed by 67 countries, while the US-led Digital Currency Governance Alliance has only 29 member countries. This gap in standard-setting power is particularly evident at the level of cross-border payment protocols. Countries that adopt China's DLT standards can obtain System Interoperability Certification, which actually restructures the discourse structure of the international monetary system at the technical level. In this quiet monetary revolution, the fundamental dilemma faced by the United States is this. It must both maintain the vested interests of the existing financial system and adapt to the disruptive impact of technological change. The rise of the digital yuan reveals a rather cruel reality. When technological revolution and geopolitics combine, the traditional hegemony moat may become virtually null and void overnight. Former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan once asserted that the dollar's hegemony will continue into the next century. But this prediction is now facing unprecedented challenges. The future monetary order may not be an either-or alternative. Instead, it could evolve into a multipolar pattern driven by digital technology. And honestly, the key to victory lies in who can take the lead in building a more inclusive digital currency ecosystem.